my opinion on trap music is much like my opinion on humans. There's some cool ones, but we don't need to make any more. I realized that this whole time has been leading up to my realization. I realized that. And the realization that I realized my realization was leading up to is that I'm not bored of hyperpop or PC music. The other day, I listened to Oh Yeah by A.G. Cook. It showed up in my fucking YouTube. I was like, oh yeah. Get it? So I clicked on it. And at a certain point, I just was like, what is the point of this? What is this trying to achieve? It's not a good song. So, is it one of those things where it's like, well, it's only not good if you don't have context, you know, like conceptual art type of situation? Is it like, you know, oh, well, actually, if you understand what it's trying to say, then it makes sense. So what is it trying to say? It's not trying to say anything anymore. There was a time when maybe someone was trying to say something. Maybe it was A.G. Cook even. But that time is long gone. Trap is not for a long time been anything other than the mainstream. For years and years and years. So mainstream, so all-consuming and homogeneous, it's actually impossible to escape. You can't go into any genre anymore without finding people doing trap. You go into punk, you find people doing trap. You go into metal, you find people doing trap. You go into psychedelic, you find people doing trap. You go into techno, you find people doing trap. You go to dubstep, you find people going trap. Everything's going trap. There is no non-trap, except people who build their entire identity about how they're not trap. Like, for example, white people who rap over boom bap beats. And no one wants to listen to that. No one in the world wants to listen to that. And even they have started rapping over trap beats. Even Eminem has started rapping over trap beats. No one is free from the fucking homogeneity of culture that is boom. No one is free from the 808s and the claps and the rattling hi-hats. No one is free from it. And this isn't to say it's all bad. This is not to say it's all bad. I'll probably be bumping Chief Keef and Space Ghost Purp and Lil B and Ethernet till the day I die. I'll probably be doing that. Not to say it's all bad. But we need an exit. We need an outside. And currently there is no outside. And there's some interesting stuff that's happened, you know, because normally, when there's a homogeneous musical culture, an outside will come along, and we see historically the outside, right? Like punk as a response to the hippie movement and heavy metal and like, you know, becoming all technical and whatever, like hair metal and stuff. You see the hippie movement as a response to, you know, you see all this stuff throughout history. You see the responses to each other. But what you don't see is the failed responses, the responses that only became a niche nothing subculture that never took hold. But we're living through that right now, right? We have a monoculture, and even the avant-garde is making pop music, as I've explained a million times. Even the avant-garde is making pop music, so it's just, there's nothing we can do about that. And so who are the outside? Well, we tried to turn to punk, you know, the old reliable. Now, I think it's safe to assume that punk is never going away at this point. Every major city and minor city in the world has its own little underground punk scene. Punk is just a scene that will continue forever. It's never going to die. It's never going to really be a thing either. It's just always going to be its own little thing. And so, of course, punk tried to be the outside, right? But the way it did it was through School Shooter, Negative XP, and them lot, right? It tried to be, well, all of this mainstream pop shit is very liberal, you know, left of center, very much like, you know, socially liberal. And so, of course, the response to that was like, well, that's clearly the problem here. And so they went full incel with it, which is, you know, an interesting take. And so you got some of that music, and some of that music's good. You know, I like the song "Bad Vibes" by Negative XP or School Shooter. You know, I like Hard Christ. Me and Hard Christ interact on Twitter. A lot of it's pretty good. And again, a lot of the more weirder, you know, I like Blady. I still like Blady. Blady's the only one that can do Blady. I've tried to explain this to people before. No one else should ever bother. Just leave it to him. No, don't bother, right? And, you know, the interesting thing is that this is like SoundCloud incel core, as they call it, or whatever you want to call that sort of subgenre of punk, because not all of them are incels. You know, I'm not an incel, and I'm often grouped in with them. Like that never really became anything, and I don't think it's ever going to become anything. And that's interesting because you never see that throughout history. You never really get to look at the. I'm sure they've always existed, these failed outsides, but you normally never see them. But currently we're in one. But there's another reason why this will never work, and that's because punk isn't a new alternative. It doesn't make sense anymore to make punk, because the point of punk, right, was that the cheapest way in the 70s that you could make music is to get a couple of your mates over. One of them has a drum kit, one of them has a guitar, one of them has a bass, and one of them shouts. And that was the cheapest possible, easiest, simplest possible way you could make music. But then computers became a thing, and suddenly Young Chop was the easiest and simplest possible way you could make music as a poor working class person. You become Young Chop on the beat, or you become Wiley, for example, all this sort of stuff. And so computers became really the new punk instrument. The DAW is the ultimate punk instrument, because it's literally something you probably already have, a computer, and you can pirate the software. So it's basically free, and all it takes is doing it. You don't even have to have technical, physical skill to play guitar. You just have to have the knowledge to use a DAW. So that's good. But so basically what I'm saying is, if there's going to be an alternative, it has to be electronic. And we can actually see that reflected in my top 3 punk tracks of my lifetime. The best punk tracks that have been released while I was alive are Doe Deer by Crystal Castles, Tight Swat by Show Me the Body, and Doorman by Slow Tide. 2 out of those 3, Doe Deer and Doorman, are electronic completely, right? And Tight Swat is not really a normal punk song either, because it has a banjo instead of a guitar. But it's the closest to a normal punk song. And I think one of the problems with the incel thing, why it never really showed as a proper alternative, is because it was too poppy, and also right-wing. So obviously, you can never really have a subversive right-wing movement. You can only have the image of a subversive right-wing movement, because a right-wing movement can never actually be opposed to the status quo. You know, it's conservative by nature. It's literally what it's called. So you can only oppose some perceived enemy, which you can see because the anthem of this movement is Scott Pilgrim versus the World ruined a generation of women, right? But you know, this is like it's essentially a big straw man. Even though I agree with the general point of that song, and I find it funny, and I'm not like gonna say it's stupid or whatever. I find it funny, but in reality, people were already behaving and dressing like that before Scott Pilgrim came out. You know, it's a straw man. It's trying to group a whole bunch of things into one to fight against them because they don't really have an enemy. Or they don't realize who their enemy really is. We know who our enemies are. Sorry, don't know why I started singing there. So we know that the new movement, whatever it is, has to be electronic. And let me tell you, if I hear another fucking half-time trap beat, I'm gonna go insane. All trap beats are half-time, right? You know, if you have like 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a full-time beat would be like. Life is like a... I'm not going to finish that sentence. But a halftime beat would be like... You know, trap beats are halftime. I'm fed up of that shit. I'm fucking tired of it. I don't want it anymore. I'm so tired of that rhythm. I never want to hear that fucking rhythm again. I never want to hear... Never again, never again, never again, never again. I don't want to hear a fucking 808. I don't want to hear a jug 808 ever again. I never want to hear this shit. Fuck off. Kill yourself. I don't want to hear it. I'm completely tired of it. So, of course, none of this pseudo-avant-garde bullshit like hyperpop is going to take off because it's all fucking exists in the homogenous monoculture of trap. So the new music has to be electronic and it has to vehemently resist halftime. And my bet is on techno, right? I think techno right now is what techno interests me. Right now, techno interests me. I'm doing deep diving Detroit shit. You know what the fuck it is. I'm deep diving Detroit shit. You know what the fuck it is. I think it should have no lyrics, right? We've had too many lyrics recently. Too many. And lyrics are pre-incorporated as a concept. We need to deterritorialize language. That's why I like Igloo Ghost. I don't even like Igloo Ghost that much, but Igloo Ghost raps nonsense. He just spits sounds. That's what it's all about. Fleur D, the ultimate Deleuzian subject. Fleur D, who just spits sounds. That's what I'm all about. Fuck lyrics, and fuck vocal melodies as well. I don't want any vocal melodies. I want no auto-tune. We have to stand against auto-tune. We have to oppose radically auto-tune. And I say no need for vocals altogether. Maybe spoken word. If we don't need vocals, we can just have fucking techno beats. All you need in life is a TR-909 and a 303. You just need a 909 and a 303, and then you got the acid bass line. You know what the fuck it is, bitch. That's what you need in real life. Not any of this fucking Jug 808 bullshit. None of that. And I don't know if techno is a good idea. Listen, techno is just something that I've been interested. Techno simply interests me. I don't think techno is actually the music of the music that actually presents a viable exit from trap homogeneity. I do not think techno presents a viable exit to the popular monoculture. Definitely not. Definitely not. But I don't think hyperpop is any better. In fact, it's definitely infinitely worse. I think there needs to be, in techno in the modern era is often bad. I've seen some fucking people on Twitter a year ago or more saying techno is too focused on being dark. We have oversaturation of dark techno. Where's my bright techno? Oh, you want happy, nice, fun techno? That's a genre that already exists. It's called taking your house records and speeding them up by 10 BPM, you fucking idiot. Techno is lunar, house is solar, right? We need more lunar music. Space Goes Perp is lunar music, right? That's the fucking shit we need. The dark autism. We need more dark autism in music. Right now, everything is fucking monoculture light autism. It's barely even autistic. It's fucking nonsense. It's fucking bullshit. And we don't need Big Crush Trap. We don't need whatever the fuck they call that shit these days. Digicore, Surge. Fuck you. You're not radical. You're nothing. You don't sound good. You're just sucking each other's dicks. You're just sucking each other's dicks. Fuck off. It's not the sound of pop to come. And if it is, then I radically oppose it. Because fuck pop music. Why would I ever like pop music? For a second I was like, I'm going to make post-punk. And then I made post-punk and it was just pop music. And I never want to make that shit again. Fuck you. Right? I want to make fucking techno. Because I know no one's ever going to buy it. And because no one's ever going to buy it, that means I can't be pre-corporated. And I don't want to be pre-corporated. I want to deterritorialize music itself. Culture. Right? That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. Not fucking... If I hear another fucking song, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Now, I can't tell you what comes next, but what I can tell you is you have to create it for it to appear. You can't just keep recreating and fucking incestuously sucking each other off, making weird, increasingly stupid subgenres of rate your music, SoundCloud, incest babies genres. You can't keep doing that. It's not sustainable business practice. It's not anything. You need an actual viable exit, and that only comes with actual viable desire. And I seem to be the only person in the fucking world who is capable of experiencing desire right now. I don't know. Maybe the answer was in front of me the whole time. I think there's lots of viable options. You know, as I said, the computer, the DAW, is the new punk guitar of the modern era, of course, right? The cheapest possible, easiest, most accessible instrument is always going to be what is the key. And so the DAW is the key. This much is obvious. But maybe it's not. What if it's live coding, eh? What if it's tidal cycles? Maybe I'll learn that shit. Maybe I'll teach myself that shit next. I don't think that's necessarily the case, But what if it is? I don't think that it's actually what comes next, but it would be neat if it was. And so I might just do it. I might just make it what comes next because that's just how fucking sick I am. I just might make Algo Rave the next fucking genius move because I'm just a genius. But I don't think that's what comes next. That's just an interesting little side note, which I think is cool. But I don't think it's a viable exit. It's a semi-viable exit, but I don't think it's a viable exit. More importantly, the DAW. You know, I said you can become the new Johnny Rotten, which is Young Chop, right? But I'm not from Chicago. I'm from fucking London. You know, we don't have no fucking Young Chop. We got Wiley, right? Grime exists somewhere in the ether. It's kind of dead right now in London. It's still going strong up north, and they're killing it up there. You know, Sir Spyro always been killing it. He's from Birmingham, if I remember correctly. He's been killing it since the old days of grime, and he's still killing it. And, you know, I'm working on that shit. I got projects in the works. You don't have to worry about me. I got projects in the works. You don't have to worry about me. Always had projects in the work. Always will be having projects in the works. So I got projects in the works on that front. And I got projects in the works on other fronts. I don't know if guitar is the right front. Is a return to tradition the right front? I like the bass guitar. I like the bass guitar because it's not a guitar, but it's also a guitar. You know? The reason I like the bass guitar is because I pitch it up, right? And then I pitch it up in another octave and layer that on with a slight delay, and it gives it like a chiptune-y effect. And it's like synthetic, but also material. And that's neat. But I don't know if it's neat enough. Also, I already did it to the fairest. Already been done. Don't really want to do it again. Also, too close to punk, not really a viable exit, not really electronic enough. Not sure about that. Techno interests me, but again, don't know. I don't know what the viable exit is. I don't know if there is one. I literally don't know if there is one. It might have been completely, that might not even be an idea that makes any sense anymore. An exit from the monoculture, does this not make you want to kill yourself? An exit from the monoculture genuinely might not even be a concept that makes sense in 2021. It genuinely might not be a concept that makes sense in 2021. Exit from the monoculture might not be a concept that we just don't know. We just don't know, because I'm the only one who's fucking trying. Because no one else is fucking trying. No one else gives a shit except for me. I'm the only one who sees the problems, so I'm the only one who's going to solve the problems. No one else gives a shit about any of this. No one else cares about the future of fucking human creation. No one else cares about it except me. You can't put all the pressure on me. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. And that's why I'm deep diving Detroit techno, because they had shit figured out back then. You know? Fucking Jeff Mills and fucking Underground Resistance and fucking what's his name, Model 500. He had it figured out. They all had it figured out. I don't have shit figured out. So I'm looking to them, you know, the old masters. But essentially, the more I learn about electronic music, the more I like Detroit techno. You know, I'm going back to all the old Aphex Twin shit. I'm going back to all the old Tekka shit, because that's where you need to find inspiration for electronic music. You don't find electronic music inspiration from fucking 100 gecs. Are you fucking kidding me? They don't know what they're doing. They literally don't know what they're doing. Dylan Brady is a not good producer. I've come to this conclusion now. Dylan Brady can't produce. He knows how to do one sound, and he just figured that out and just makes it over and over again. It would be like if I made To the Fairest and just never stopped making the same song over and over again. He doesn't know how to make other songs. He has no idea how to mix guitars. First of all his songs with guitars in them sound like shit. All his songs with acoustic drums in them sound like complete fucking dog shit. He doesn't know how to mix trance properly. He mixes it like an idiot, and he only knows how to mix his own music, which is not even interesting anymore. It was interesting for a month when it first happened, but now it's been subsumed into the monoculture, and it's selling out festivals. Well, you know, Minecraft festivals right now, but Charlie XCX was selling out festivals. It's getting millions of views. It's the monoculture. It is no longer, it's pre-corporated. I don't want to be pre-corporated. That shit pains me. And if I can't manage it, if I can't solve this problem through music, then I'm going to have to solve it through another way, and no one's going to like the other way, so I'm going to have to do it through culture, right? No one's going to like the other way. I'm not going to like it. You're not going to like it. No one's going to like the other way. I have to solve it through music. I don't know what the viable exit is. I don't know if an exit makes sense. I've already talked about this. But that's what I'm going to say, is that it's not just hyperpop I'm fucking bored of. It's not just PC music I'm bored of. It's not just SoundCloud music I'm bored of. It's fucking the monoculture itself. It's trap. It's the fucking cultural fucking monolith, the center of all modernity, which is the trap beat. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. I can't wait for it to die, and I want to be the one that fucking stabs it. I want to be the death blow to the trap beat. I just need to figure out how.